defensible space and green waste collection. All efforts make a difference. We are all in this together. Learn more about wildfire preparedness at readynevadacounty.org.
In Nevada County, defensible space is a year-round effort. From winter storm recovery to preparing for wildfire season, resilience takes a united community. Create defensible space around your home, property, or business to give first responders a chance to protect what matters most. We are all in this together. Learn more at readynevadacounty.org/defensible space.
Whether you live in our oak woodlands or alpine forests, if you're a resident of Nevada County, then wildfire is on your mind. From community planning to defensible space and green waste collection. All efforts make a difference. We are all in this together. Learn more about wildfire preparedness at readynevadacounty.org.
In Nevada County, defensible space is a year-round effort. From winter storm recovery to preparing for wildfire season, resilience takes a united community. Create defensible space around your home, property, or business to give first responders a chance to protect what matters most. We are all in this together. Learn more at readynevadacounty.org/defensible space.
Whether you live in our oak woodlands or alpine forests, if you're a resident of Nevada County, then wildfire is on your mind. From community planning to defensible space and green waste collection. All efforts make a difference. We are all in this together. Learn more about wildfire preparedness at readynevadacounty.org.
In Nevada County, defensible space is a year-round effort. From winter storm recovery to preparing for wildfire season, resilience takes a united community. Create defensible space around your home, property, or business to give first responders a chance to protect what matters most. We are all in this together. Learn more at readynevadacounty.org/defensible space.
Whether you live in our oak woodlands or alpine forests, if you're a resident of Nevada County, then wildfire is on your mind. From community planning to defensible space and green waste collection. All efforts make a difference. We are all in this together. Learn more about wildfire preparedness at readynevadacounty.org.
In Nevada County, defensible space is a year-round effort. From winter storm recovery to preparing for wildfire season, resilience takes a united community. Create defensible space around your home, property, or business to give first responders a chance to protect what matters most. We are all in this together. Learn more at readynevadacounty.org/defensible space.
Whether you live in our oak woodlands or alpine forests, if you're a resident of Nevada County, then wildfire is on your mind. From community planning to defensible space and green waste collection. All efforts make a difference. We are all in this together. Learn more about wildfire preparedness at readynevadacounty.org.
In Nevada County, defensible space is a year-round effort. From winter storm recovery to preparing for wildfire season, resilience takes a united community. Create defensible space around your home, property, or business to give first responders a chance to protect what matters most. We are all in this together. Learn more at readynevadacounty.org/defensible space.
Whether you live in our oak woodlands or alpine forests, if you're a resident of Nevada County, then wildfire is on your mind. From community planning to defensible space and green waste.
To have you all here. I'm Terry McAteer. I'm standing in for our chairman, Danny Millman, who will be here later, so you get me for a little bit. And at this point, I'd like to ask Commissioner French if he wouldn't mind in leading us in the pledge. See what you get for being mean. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now our clerk will call roll.
Thank you. Commissioner French.
Present.
Commissioner Foley.
Present.
Commissioner McAteer.
Present.
Commissioner Garst.
Here.
And Chair Millman.
Are there any additions or corrections at all to the agenda, Mr. Foss?
No corrections, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So now we'll open it up to public comment. If you have something to say about an item that's not on our agenda today, we would invite you up to the podium there. You'd state your name, and you have 3 minutes to chat with us. So is there anyone would like to take that opportunity at this point? Seeing none, we will move on to our first agenda item, which happens to be the river rafting permits on the Truckee River. And so, Elena, I'll turn it over to you at this point.
Thank you, and good afternoon, commissioners and everyone else. My name is Alina Church, and I'm the assistant planner here with the Nevada County Planning Department and the project planner for the 2026 and 27 rafting permits of the Little Truckee and Truckee River in eastern Nevada County in front of the Planning Commission for review today. Commercial rafting permits are being sought by Tributary Whitewater Tours, Tahoe Whitewater Tours, Dreamcatcher River Tours, and Irie Rafting Company. The rafting ordinance within the General Code requires permits for commercial rafting on the Truckee River from Boca to the Sierra County line and establishes regulations for commercial rafting operations. Among other things, these include hours of operation, number of permits, number of rafts operating, parking requirements, and permit cycle length. These regulations are intended to prevent disturbance to the greatest extent possible to the river while allowing the use of the river intended by the General Code. The permitting use of the Truckee River started in 1994 and has been renewed every 2 years. There are 2 access points proposed. The ingress point on the Little Truckee River right above the Boca Dam, just north of the town limits of the town of Truckee, and the egress is proposed on both the east and west banks of the Truckee River at the I-80 overpass in the Floreston community. The ingress site below the Boca Dam on the federal land is U.S. Forest. The U.S. Forest Service has a temporary special use permit to allow river ingress to the applicants at that point. The special use permit, True 297, issued by the U.S. Forest Service, allows commercial rafting operators to stage vehicles at designated parking area just below the Boca Dam. At the 10660 address, this staging area serves as the primary location for the participant parking prior to river access, provides sufficient capacity to accommodate peak use associated with permitted rafting activities. It is noted that Irie Rafting Company will be staging outside of Nevada County at their office in Placer County, utilizing the shuttle buses at the put-in location. In addition, special use permit True 655 issued by the U.S. Forest Service authorizes Tahoe Whitewater and Dreamcatcher River Tours to utilize the staging area at the Boca put-in location. That's the 10550 address shown above. This permit allows for the placement of a portable restroom facility, a temporary 12 by 30 foot structure to support operational needs, and it has adequate space to accommodate customer vehicles, guide vehicles, and shuttle buses associated with the rafting operations. For this permitting cycle, the egress is proposed at both the east and west banks of the Truckee River at the I-80 overpass in Floriston. Egress at the east of the river, also known as the sand shed side, would result in the parking at the Caltrans maintenance facility parking lot. There is an existing pathway from the riverbank to the staging area. Egress from the west bank of the river results in parking under the overpass. The proposed west bank egress location has been used for many years, and the existing footpath leads from the west bank of the Truckee River up to a gravel turnaround in the state right-of-way where the parking is located and where a porta potty would be placed. Both areas have adequate room for parking and each have adequate room for the porta potty. The applicants have the right-of-way use agreement with Caltrans allowing for that ingress and egress within the state right-of-way of Floriston near the I-80 bridge. The conditions of approval that have been crafted over the many years include the prohibition of stops, signage, ancillary business, requires a porta potty, communication devices, first aid, and safety equipment on shuttle buses, and no parking in the right-of-ways outside of the Caltrans lease agreement. Again, these conditions of approval have been crafted per the general code regulations. The conditions applied that allow safe recreational experience for commercial rafting of the Little Truckee and Truckee River while preventing disturbance to the greatest extent possible for the maintenance of site for the health in the river. The planning department staff does conduct inspections throughout the rafting season to ensure that the rafting guides are complying with set conditions. And it is noted that there were no violations or complaints in the 24-26 permitting cycle. In conclusion, staff recommends that the Planning Commission finds that these projects exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15061B3 of the California Environmental Quality Act and approve the 4 individual raft permits, making findings A through G in the staff report. Thank you, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Elena. My first question is, are there any changes that have occurred between 2 years ago and today to these permits?
Not necessarily. They renewed all of the permits through the U.S. Forest Service and Caltrans that they did in the years prior. The only maybe addition that there was the continued use recently of the 106550 Stampede, which was the staging area and parking area below the Boca Dam. They utilized it last year as well, but that was kind of the most recent effect between 2023 to now.
Okay, thank you. So any questions here? Nothing from you, Commissioner? Anything? Steve?
So did you mention that you've had no complaints from the public the past 3 years, was it?
From the 24-25 season, we haven't had any known complaints.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Are there any of the applicants that want to address us on any of these points? Or, I don't know. You're welcome to come up to the podium if you need to. Okay. John, you're okay? Okay. Good. This is your project.
It is in my district. Can you put the recommendations? Is it just these two here? I make a motion to find the permits to be categorically exempt from exempt pursuant to CEQA 15061B3.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we call the roll, please?
Your vote, Commissioner French,
Yes.
Commissioner Foley,
Aye.
Commissioner McAteer,
Aye.
and Commissioner Garst.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then I make a motion to approve the.
Commissioner Garst, sorry to disrupt you. It approved the 4 commercial rafting permits, making findings A through G in the staff report. The last A through G in the staff report.
Okay,
isn't
perfect.
in
Thank
there.
you.
Thanks.
I make a motion to approve the 4 commercial rafting permits with the conditions A through G in the staff report.
Do we have a second on that?
Yeah, I'll second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Your vote, Commissioner French?
Aye.
Commissioner Foley?
Aye.
Commissioner McAteer?
Aye.
And Commissioner Garst?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aileen. You're staying around for part 2. Okay, so now we'd like to move to the conditional use permit on McCourtney Road for an event venue. So why don't you take it away, please?
Okay. Hello again. Alina Church with the Assistant Planner of Nevada County Planning Department and the project planner for the Special Events Conditional Use Permit at 13447 American Ranch Court in front of the Planning Commission for review today. The project parcel is located in western Nevada County. The APN is 025-580-008 and is accessed off McCourtney Road. Additionally, it is 3 miles from the city of Grass Valley. The project site is zoned general agricultural with a minimum parcel size of 20 acres and is approximately 23.42 acres. The project parcel is currently developed with residential and commercial activity, including a primary residence, an ADU, pool, animal husbandry barn, gravel parking lot, ground mount solar, well, and septic system. On April 24th, 2024, the outdoor events permit application with the Nevada County Planning Department was approved. That is for 1 year and limits 8 events per year. The applicant did renew the annual permit that was approved in February 2025 and is set to expire in April of 2026. The project proposes a special events venue for private celebrations such as weddings, anniversaries, family reunions, memorials, birthdays, for up to 150 guests with a maximum of 50 events per year, with the event hours restricted between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. Special events may be held 7 days a week. However, it is anticipated that most of the events will be scheduled on the weekends. The proposed special events area will primarily be within the already constructed 4,800 square foot agricultural barn, and a small portion of the events held within the ceremony lawn area. Food and drinks will be allowed at events. However, all food preparation shall be done off-site and then brought to the venue. The proposed plan has 95 parking spaces. 92 of the spaces are standard spaces located within the existing gravel parking area, and aisles will be delineated by landscape trees and barrels, along with 2 ADA compliant spaces and then 1 van accessible space, all in compliance with the parking of the Nevada County Code. Nevada County does not have specific parking standard for outdoor event land use. However, the code directs a planning agency to determine the required number of spacing for general outdoor recreational uses with a similar proposed use. Therefore, determined by the Nevada County Planning Department, the parking plan as proposed meets those parking standards. The project site contains existing landscaping and provides screening and is generally consistent with the landscaping section of the Nevada County Code. Although the existing landscaping may not meet all current prospective landscaping standards, the code does allow planning agency to approve modifications where site constraints or existing conditions achieve the same overall landscaping effect. Given that the landscaping is already established and provides both adequate visual and screening consistent with the purpose of the ordinance, the existing landscaping is considered acceptable for this project. Again, the only landscaping improvement proposed is the addition of the 3 landscape trees and barrels to define parking aisles in compliance with Section 12.04.107 of the Nevada County Code. The project is substantially consistent with the design guidelines of Western Nevada County Design Guidelines because it establishes the proposed event venue as a prominent building appropriate for its use, and by using appropriate building materials such as a metal roof, wood siding, using a gable style roof overhangs, and muted soft colors, and doors to reduce the visual impact of the building as shown in the photograph here. Additionally, the agricultural barn includes 16 exterior lights installed along the perimeter of the building. There are 10 LED downlit rectangular shield and 6 round downlight gooseneck style LED lights. All 16 of the proposed lights are downward facing and fully shielded to prevent light sources or lens from being visible from adjacent properties and roadways that are compatible with Section 12.04.108 of the Nevada County Code. Primary access to the special events venue will be provided from McCourtney Road by a dedicated existing driveway identified on the picture in yellow above. That driveway traverses APN 025580007, which is owned by James and Jennifer Flaherty, the applicants here today, and will be exclusively used for the events. Secondary access for emergency purposes will be available by the American Ranch Court, which currently serves the main access for the residents. Screening thresholds identified by the Nevada County Transportation Commission and vehicle miles travel implementation shows that it can be screened out by 630 vehicle miles traveled per day. The maximum occupancy of the special events venue at any given event has a maximum of 150 people and would not be representative of typical daily use. The special events venue would be used at a maximum of 50 times per year and serves the community by holding private celebrations on specific occasions when rented out by a private party. It's unlikely to create regional draw because access to the special events venue is restricted to private uses and private parties who have rented it out. While the Nevada County Department of Public Works did not require a traffic study to be done, a trip generation calculation was done by Public Works that concluded the proposed project would expect to result in 21 trips per day. The Nevada County Public Works Department reviewed the project and provided trip generation to determine that it is unlikely to create substantial draw, thus would only have minimal impact to vehicle miles traveled. The project area is proposed primarily within areas that have been previously disturbed. The project site contains shrub oaks, no protected oak trees as defined by the Nevada County Code would be removed or impacted by implementation of the project. The project parcel contains one aquatic feature in the southernmost portion of the site, a seasonal creek identified as Dry Creek. The development portions of the site, including an existing driveway, parking area, agricultural building, are all located in the northern portion of the parcel, approximately 500 feet from that seasonal creek. Therefore, the project, as proposed, will not have any potential adverse effects on any environmental sensitive areas. A condition of approval from the Nevada County Fire Marshal will require vegetation clearance around structures that meet minimum requirements from the Public Resources Code. Additionally, due to the high fire severity zone designation, a fire protection plan and evacuation plan was submitted as part of the application. A condition of approval provided by the fire marshal to reduce the fire risk is that the applicant shall be required to create and maintain 10-foot wide vegetation fuel modification zone on both sides of the driveways measured from the shoulder, and by removing vegetation that contributes to significant fire risk, and that all structures shall be compliant to the Public Resources Code defensible space requirements. Amplified music associated with the events is primarily within the existing 4,800 square foot barn structure. Limited outdoor amplified sound may occur during such events like weddings that typically last approximately 20 minutes on the ceremony lawn area, where the amplified music would then be relocated indoors. All amplified sound is controlled within the barn. In lieu of a comprehensive noise study, the property owner has implemented real-time noise monitoring during events using on-site sound monitoring devices. Noise levels were actively monitored during the duration of each event to ensure the compliance with Nevada County noise standards. According to monitoring data collected from approximately 12 events, including events ranging from 75 to 250 attendees, with an average duration of approximately 5 hours. Measured noise levels at the property lines ranged from 35 to 44 decibels, which is below the applicable 50 decibel standard for the 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. time period. Events are required to conclude by 10 p.m. and no amplified music is permitted after that time. Additionally, mitigation measure 13A shall be implemented to continue real-time monitoring during those events, and that the county can request those records at any time. The project currently does operate under the outdoor event permit application, which allows 8 outdoor events per year. To the county's knowledge, no noise complaints have been filed or received related to the operation of those events. The project area is also influenced by existing ambient noise sources, notably the McCourtney Road transfer station that's approximately 0.3 miles north of the project that generates regular daytime noise. The project parcel has a general plan land use designation of Rural 20 and a zoning designation of general agricultural with a minimum size of 20. The rural general plan designation intended to provide for development and compatible uses with the rural setting. The development of special events is compatible with the Ag 20 Rural 20 land designation because it is allowed with the use permit. The proposed project meets all site development standards of the general agricultural with minimum parcel size of 20 acres, as well as community design standards. Therefore, the project proposed is consistent with those in the Nevada County zoning and general plan. The Planning Department prepared and drafted an initial study and proposed mitigated negative declaration for the proposed project EIS 250013. The initial study was available for public review during a period of February 23rd to March 27th. The initial study identified potential impacts to this project in regard to air quality, biological resources, cultural resources, geology, soils, hydrology, water quality, noise, tribal cultural resources, and possible impacts to utilities and service systems. Mitigation measures were identified to reduce potential impacts to less than significant levels. Based on the technical information with this application, review of potential policy and regulatory documents, in consultation with appropriate local, state, and federal agencies, all the potential impacts that were identified have been mitigated. Therefore, a mitigated negative declaration is the appropriate environmental document for this project. The Planning Department has received, there's a typo, it's 9 letters of support and 0 letters of opposition for this project. There was a memo sent out on Tuesday, the 14th, regarding 2 conditions of approval that have been amended in regard to solid waste and neighbor notification requirements. The condition regarding the neighborhood notification is intended to reflect the general standard in the outdoor event permit that currently exists. However, the Planning Commission retains full direction to amend or further refine the condition deemed appropriate. As stated in the memo, the condition regarding the neighbor notification states that the applicant shall provide written notice to all property owners within 500 feet of the project no later than April 1st of each year, identifying the anticipated schedule of events for the upcoming calendar year or event season to the extent known at that time. It is recognized that not all events may be scheduled by April 1st, and additional or last-minute events may occur. Such events shall be allowed without additional mailed notice, provided that all events remain in compliance with the approved use and applicable conditions of approval. And proof of that notification shall be maintained by the applicant and made available upon county request. And the solid waste condition is to submit a solid waste disposal plan prior to operation. In conclusion, staff recommends the Planning Commission take the following actions: adopt the mitigated negative declaration and mitigation monitoring and reporting program pursuant to Section 15074 and 15097 of the California Environmental Quality Act, making findings A through C as shown in the staff report, and approve the proposed use permit CUP 250005 subject to the attached conditions of approval shown in attachment 1, making findings A through L pursuant to section 12.02.030 and Title 12, Chapter 4 of the Nevada County Code. Thank you so much, and here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Aileen. So I think we'll begin. Mr. Flaherty, do you have anything you'd like to share, or Mrs. Flaherty, regarding this project that hasn't been already shared? No. Okay. Then I'll open it up for public comment at this time. Anyone would like to address the commission regarding this project? You have 3 minutes at the podium. Please state your name, and off we go. Yes, ma'am. Whoops, we're going to get you some mic going.
Is it on? My name's Kathy Hinman, and I'm a resident of Penn Valley. I work here in Grass Valley and manage the Association of Realtors. And I'm here today to speak to you as a local resident to the fact that our county has been in need of a venue like this. We struggle with the lack of venues. In fact, we had a venue that was taken over by a supply company down off East Main, and right off of, not off East Main, but right by the new dispensary. Sorry. I haven't been up speaking for a while, so
It's
I apologize.
okay. We don't bite.
But I'm an individual citizen who works with various community groups, and as a manager of the member organization, I am challenged time after time with trying to find a venue for just a small business meeting or a community engagement venue. And as a citizen who works with these various groups, I've lived here for over 20 years and discovered this amazing gem during the holidays when I was invited to a recognition event. And I was astounded by the beauty, just the beauty of the property and the proximity to Grass Valley, Penn Valley, and the neighboring communities. And I was also recognizing the safe access, the wonderful site plan that they set up to establish a viable parking lot and safe access to that, well-designed parking, large covered facility, and versatile grounds. Our entire county can benefit from these amenities with little impact on the neighboring properties, unlike other current and proposed venues. Costella Vista is a unique property set apart from the residential neighborhoods and the congestion and parking issues that we face with other venues. As you've learned and possibly experienced, it sits on over 25 acres, and the site plan is so carefully designed to stay within the aesthetics of the community. If it's made more available to our residents, it could solve many of our challenges that we deal with day to day with organizations, with community fundraisers, and just small family gatherings. In fact, my daughter is looking for a venue to get married, and we'll probably have to have it in our backyard at this point because there are no local facilities available.
Whoops, that ends your time. Thank you very much, Kathy. Thanks for your input. Anyone else would like to address the commission? Come on, come on down.
Hi there, my name is Seth Leishman, and we recently purchased the property at 13197 American Ranch Court. It's almost right next door. I'd like to publicly voice my support for this use permit and project. The Flahertys have done everything possible to create an amazing and beautiful spot in Nevada County for events like weddings and charitable fundraising. This is a needed venue within our county. They've accommodated the neighborhood by adding their own entrance and road off McCourtney, keeping all event traffic away from American Ranch. They are not throwing raging, loud late-night parties. This venue is quiet and serene and beautiful. They've provided charitable organizations such as the Rudiger Foundation, NUFFA, and Sierra Harvest, all of which I've personally attended, and others, a gorgeous location with ample parking. That ample parking is something that many venues here in Nevada County do not offer. It is up to date and has all of the right facilities. And as their newest neighbor and having known about and attended events at their property, I have no issues or problems with the Flahertys using their own property for these venue purposes. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth. Anyone else?
Hello, I also am their newest neighbor at American Ranch Court and stand in support of the increase.
I'm sorry, I'd love to know your name.
Yes, I'm Tisha Hamberlin.
Okay, Tisha.
And I'm speaking in support not only as their neighbor, but also a very involved community member. I currently stand as the Nevada Union FFA Boosters President, the Nevada Union Baseball Boosters President. I am the president of a primary program at a local church, and the list could go on, actually, of the other events that I help coordinate. And I, too, have experienced the problem of a lack of places that we can provide safe and wonderful, high-quality events in Nevada County. I have personally attended 4 events on their property and have found it to be absolutely exceptional. And again, as a new neighbor, I also am very much in support of how they run their property for these events.
Thank you, Tisha. Anyone else would like to address the commission?
I'm Cheryl Relstab. I'm a 42-year resident of Nevada County, and I'm involved in the community, and I support a lot of local charities, and I think this is an amazing venue. I couldn't hear one negative thing, and if the next-door neighbor thinks it's a good idea, I think we all should. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate it. Yes, sir, you want to come down? I can tell you're chomping at the bit to chat with us.
Hi, my name is Jules Friedel, and I'm representing my sister as well, Lynn Friedel. It seems like this center is already in place. We own the south half of Section 8, so we're just on the southern border of this lot. And my concern is we have an animal corridor there right now. And,
you speak up a little. I'm sorry. You had an animal what?
Corridor.
Okay.
And we have, like I say, we have 320 acres there. And we also have, like I say, a lot of people that go on that property and sometimes hunt and sometimes shoot, sometimes ride their vehicles and stuff, which might be a little bit of a liability to these folks that are putting together this center. And I just don't know if they're aware that there may be people shooting out there. And like I say, we have no way of, keeping these folks out when they're hunting or running their vehicles and stuff. So I don't know if this was ever addressed by the county. We were never notified in regards to what they had planned. We plan to look into it further, and we also, because we at one time back in 1984 had a kind of a bogus survey done by the county for a pistol range. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But anyway, we have a record of survey in place on file here, and now we're planning on, with what's going on here, there's probably going to be a little discrepancy in that boundary line. And so what we want to do is clear this up, probably before it goes any further, with the plans these folks have with this project of theirs. Anyway, I'm just figured I'd give you a little bit of a heads up here. This is something we'll be doing in the next few months, working on our record of survey and stuff. And here again, too, at times, it gets a little crazy out there with people with guns and stuff. So just so they kind of know what's going on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else would like to address the commission? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. And Elena, can you address this gentleman's concerns at all? Have you known of could you show us the parcel maps again so we all have an understanding of where the gentleman's property is in relationship to this venue?
Sorry, trying to bring it up.
And Mr. Flaherty, you're more than welcome to join in the conversation here. So
this is the surrounding vicinity map, highlighted in red outline. That's Flaherty's property, and then the kind of crossed over surrounding properties are the ones that were in 500 feet that got notified.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure where this gentleman's property is.
Sir, would you mind again coming back to the podium and telling us where, just for our clarification, in relationship to this map up there?
Okay, which the American Ranch Properties is the, I guess, the northwest quarter. That's where the white and red section is there. And we are the south half. So what's it? Yeah, there's, well, it's the south half. And it's been kind of...
I'm still sort of lost. In this Ag 20 district, you can't put your pointer on there, can you? Good.
Here we go.
Is
This property here.
that the property you're referring to?
Yes, that's the south half of section.
So who owns that property?
My sister and I.
That entire Ag 20, that entire parcel, or
Yeah,
just a portion of it?
That's south half, including the 20-acre parcel that's in the upper right-hand corner there. It looks like, down. No, the upper right-hand corner is there. That's part of the south half.
Okay, so they owns that, your sister or you own that parcel?
Right.
And do you own this Ag 20 parcel?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, it's the south half of Section 8, which is 320 acres.
Okay, so that Ag 20 plus that other parcel accounts for 320 acres, is that
Right.
correct?
Yes.
And you're saying that at certain times of the year you have some hunting that takes place. Which specific times of the year are these?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I know the neighbors in the area there. And
Yes.
a lot of times they hear shooting and stuff, or they'll hear the vehicles and stuff in the area, and they'll kind of report it to me. You know, I have contact with those neighbors in the area. Not so much in the American Ranch Properties area or the transfer station that's there, but that area is all raw acreage. And here again, too, you can see the parcels and stuff.
And do people have to gain permission to get onto your property and hunt?
No, we don't give any permission. As a matter of fact, we've posted no hunting or no shooting, no trespassing.
So who's ever on there shooting is doing this illegally?
Yes. So.
Okay, I got a better perception now. I thought that everybody was under your permission.
No.
Okay.
Like I say, I'm just bringing this up. That's why I came to
Thank
this
you very
meeting.
much. I appreciate it.
'Cause
Any
I got this
other
in the
questions to this gentleman? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Anyone else who would like to address the commission? Okay. So, Elena, why don't we open this up to questions for you and staff and others? And so we'll begin with Mr. French. Steve, any questions on this project?
No, I don't think so. I've been out to
Okay.
see it. And
Joe, I'm going to turn to you next.
Thanks. I just disclosure, I went out to the site and met with the applicants. It's a very beautiful property. One of the questions I have is about the waste management of the operations. I'm curious, maybe this is more of a question to the applicant, is what is the current procedure for removal of waste produced by events?
Before Mr. Flaherty comes up, and I think he would be best to answer, that is the reason for the condition of approval in that memo was to provide a sewage or solid waste disposal kind of plan to us, because he did disclose to me that most of it is going to be hauled away either day of or next day to the transfer station, but to make sure that we have that within the approved conditions, that is a solidified plan. But if Mr. Flaherty wants to come up and speak more on that, I'd be more than happy.
Hello, thanks for your guys' time and consideration. James Flaherty. So the waste, after every event, the guests have an option. They can remove it that night, and if they don't, then the trash stays inside the barn. So we have trash cans, and then the waste gets bagged up, so the trash stays inside. And then the next day, they have till 11 o'clock to come back or earlier. And the option is that they usually take it then or I haul it out. So the trash does not stay there for more than 12 hours. If we had an outside trash enclosure, it would actually probably have critters, foxes, and any other thing that would probably get in there that might try and pull the trash out. So our best thing is to actually take the trash within that time that we have for the projects. It's just way better for all the events, and then helps keep any type of trash from being accidentally torn open or pulled out of a trash can, even if there was an enclosure. So that's how we handle it. Is that good, Joe?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I imagine that might be difficult on weekend events when the dump is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah, the events usually end Saturday, so Sunday is the last. They're open Sunday till 4 o'clock, so it's perfect.
Okay.
I've never had a problem for the last 2 event permits that we've had for the last few years. It's worked out perfect.
Okay, thank you. The other question I had was about the landscaping. There was a comment about it. I guess one of the questions I had was the parking lot. Typically, a project like this is required to have I think it's 30% of the parking lot shaded within 10 years. Is that condition met by the trees and the barrels?
So, Commissioner Garst, typically that requirement is for commercial type businesses when it's paved and it's kind of more in the community region. This being a commercial operation, but in the rural area, we try to find a balance between requiring additional paving for 95 parking spaces, keeping something rural, acknowledging that there's a family that lives on this property and while utilizes it for some commercial type events, that it is rural and residential in nature. And so we try to look at the intent of the landscaping requirements, and given its rural location, not being visible from nearby properties extensively or public roadways. We try to be flexible in these kind of hybrid commercial/rural areas. So we did want a little bit of landscaping just between the drive aisles to help delineate those two sides of the parking area. But given the fact that the parking area is not paved, it doesn't create the heat index as other paving would be. And so in keeping with the rural character, we analyzed the surrounding landscaping, existing landscaping, and felt comfortable that it met the intent of what our code requires.
Okay, thank you. That was all I had.
John?
Yeah, thank you. I have a few. Alina, when the applicant originally applied for this use permit, was the 150 guests part of his application? Is that what he requested?
Yes, it is.
That's what he requested, and 50 events per year?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That was my main question. I was just making sure that, the applicant's gone through this whole process to make sure that what's been approved actually works for his business plan, and he has the flexibility and room to grow his business as he sees fit. So if that's what he was requesting, then I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Okay.
Helena, is there some statement regarding how many events you can have in a rural setting like this? There's in our codes at all? Is there anything?
We do not have specific regulations to the type of events, the number of events and number of attendees at the capacity.
So if Mr. Flaherty and Mrs. Flaherty find out that the project's great and they've got more demand than they have, can they come back to you then? How does that happen?
Certainly amend the use permit to increase those numbers for number of events and attendees. Keeping in mind that would affect their, sewage or septic system and their water systems. So as long as they're able to meet those capacities, they can always come back to amend it in the future.
And Mr. Flaherty, since you now, from the time you applied to now, is there any different thought relative to your 50 days? Is that meeting your needs, or is there a greater demand than you believe?
So I'm not sure. I was thinking 50 was good to where I wouldn't have to count. I'm not thinking I'm doing 50 weddings by any means, but more to do birthday parties, special events, celebrations of life, a lot of smaller events, birthday parties, baby showers. We get a lot of requests for a lot of these smaller events. They want to come to an event or a place like ours to experience this indoor-outdoor experience and just staring at four walls in a hotel room or a hotel convention type center. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could grow. I don't know. I mean, 50 is just a number that I picked thinking that might be okay. But maybe if there's a lot smaller stuff that happens during the week, maybe there'd be some more that might happen. So.
Okay.
And then while you're up there, Mr. Flaherty, along the same lines, I mean, if the last thing what I'd hate to see is in 2 years, you have to come back to Brian and Alina and say, guys, my business is doing great. I have more demand than I was originally authorized for. I also have customers that are requesting a venue that holds larger than 150 people. You've built the project out for a larger capacity than that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'm just making sure that you're comfortable with what you originally requested, and it sounds like there's a pathway forward to do an amendment in the future if things go well and the business expands.
Yeah, I mean, if there's more, the building capacity per Patrick Mason can hold up to 298 people per their fire code with the size of that structure.
And just doing some simple math, I think the project requires 60 parking spots, if I'm correct, and you have 95. So, I mean, right there, that's just going off what the calculations are. That's 225.
Yeah, we have more parking that's available on the side of the bar that's not even shown on the drawings on the site plan. So there's room for growth there for sure. And I don't know if there's any, some of the, like the fairgrounds will have, extra porta potties brought in if you have some more people that show up, or even shuttles that come in. Durham Transportation, some of the wedding guests have been using Durham locally to shuttle people up, so they're not even using all the parking. So there's more of that's happening. There's some private shuttles that will collect parties from our hotel, the Gold Miners Inn, the Courtyard Suites, and then also the new RV park. We're getting them quite a bit of business because people from out of the area want to come up and they don't want to drive. So a lot of them will take these shuttles or hire Durham, which is the buses that we have locally. So they're supporting all of these communities. So yeah, that's all open to discussion, whatever you guys see fit, talking to Alina and Brian, trying to figure out how to make it work. But we certainly have the space and it works well. It's been really good for the food bank, Sierra Harvest, Rudiger Foundation, those sorts of private, nonprofits that do those events. It's been really good to help them grow. And we basically don't hardly charge them at all for anything, just to help them out so that they can grow and be an asset to our community. And that's what I want to do.
Thank you. So Brian, if the guest capacity was increased, does that change anything other than traffic fees, essentially?
Yeah, it changes all of the analysis that we've provided to the state. Our initial study, the sewer septic capacity, all the other departments would have to re-review an increase in the number of events and number of people. It wouldn't be something we could do today. If there was a desire to continue the item, to bring it back with an increased number, we could certainly do that. But there are definitely permit paths in the future that if he wanted to increase, it's kind of dependent on the level of increase. If we're adding a couple of more events or if we're sticking with the same events and it's an increase in number of people, some of those changes after proper analysis might be able to be done administratively. If they're larger type changes or significant increases that change the need to revise our initial study mitigated negative declaration, it potentially would need to come back to the commission for a decision. So it kind of just depends on the frequency and intensity of changes being made, but not something that all of the supporting documentation today could be really done on the fly.
Okay. Well, I think as long as there's a pathway forward for future growth and flexibility, I think that's the most important thing. It seems like Mr. Flaherty's happy with where the levels are right now, and certainly don't want to cause any more delays.
So I have just two questions. So Mr. Flaherty, if you don't mind coming up again. So is there a pricing structure relative, you've been very generous in terms of nonprofits. Is there a different pricing structure if I have a family wedding or I'm Sierra Harvest?
Yeah, quite drastically. The wedding business could be considered bread and butter because it's more impact. And so I'm very strict on, keeping these things at 150 max. The catering goes really expensive and gets up. But so that's the nonprofits. Yeah, they're nonprofit for a reason. And so I want to do everything I can to help them. I grew up here. My wife and I grew up here in this community, went to grade school here. We're heavily involved in FFA and 4-H. So we give the barn for free to some of these venues. And then we expect very little from a nonprofit to kind of just help with some table and chair rental. But we really want to see them thrive and do really well in our backyards here in Nevada County.
Great. So my second question is about signage. I was on my scooter and I drove right by it. So is there something that I didn't find anything in here, Alina? Can you tell us what's allowed in the signage?
There was no signage proposed in the
There's no signage proposed. And Mr. Flaherty?
Yeah, I didn't want to call attention to the venue where I'd get random people that might want to just drive up. We do keep the gate closed so that people don't do that, so there's no through traffic coming through. And when we do event, the special events like Edward Jones did a Christmas party there, they put their sign out on I have a post out there, so we'll hang some balloons or put a sign to attract, depending on what it is that people are doing. I'm not opposed to putting a sign out. I just didn't want to cause more potential problems with traffic to upset my neighbors, to have maybe someone accidentally come up and get up on the property and then go around American Ranch Court for any reason. So that's really the only reason why I didn't do it. But
Okay, thank you very much. And for the notation, I too went out to the property, and I know, Joe, you went out there, and John,
Yeah.
you've done that, and Steve too. So all four of us has been out there. Thank you for the invitation. John, this is your project.
Great. Well, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the mitigated negative declaration and mitigation monitoring and reporting plan pursuant to Section 15074 and 15097 of the California Environmental Quality Act, making findings A through C.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Your vote, Commissioner French?
Your vote, Steve?
Aye.
Commissioner Foley?
Aye.
Commissioner McAteer?
Aye.
Commissioner Garst?
Aye.
Thank you.
So, John, before the second one, which is the use permit, I'd really love to give them an extra 5 days just for nonprofits, because I don't want to steal their bread and butter, and it sounds like Brian's willing to give a little bit, but if they would extend for 5 days for these nonprofits, which are really struggling in the county.
I think what Brian was saying was that in order to add anything.
Anything, Brian.
At this time, it would necessitate a continuation.
Right, everything is kind of structured around the 50
Okay,
days.
I sort of heard that you were a little bit malleable on that, so that's okay.
Yeah, I meant administratively, that if they come in with plans that we can route around and get input from environmental health,
Okay.
fire, we may be able to increase it administratively at that time.
Okay, thank you. John?
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed use permit CUP 25-0005, subject to the amended conditions of approval as shown as an attachment to the April 14th, 2026 memorandum and as directed in the Planning Commission meeting, making findings A through L pursuant to Section 12.02.030 and Title 12, Chapter 4 of the Nevada County Code.
And we have a second on that.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Your vote, Commissioner French?
Aye.
Commissioner Foley?
Aye.
Commissioner McAteer?
Aye.
And Commissioner Garst?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Best wishes to you in that venue. We look forward to coming out and supporting nonprofits or weddings or whatever else. Best wishes to you, Mrs. Flaherty. And I see that our chair is back, so I'll turn the gavel over to her for our third and final item. Great.
Good afternoon. Sounds like we've moved on to item number 3 and ready for staff presentation, if you guys are ready.
Thank you, Chair Millman.
You guys cleared out the crowd.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today. My name is Zachary Rubal, and I'm an associate planner with the Nevada County Planning Department. And to my left here is senior planner Steve Geiger, and him and I were both the project planners here for the 2026 safety element update in front of the Planning Commission for review today. So overall, the safety element is Chapter 10 of the general plan, and the general plan is a legislative document that requires a long-term perspective, and it is used to guide land use planning decisions. So all land use projects, zoning ordinances, and specific area plans are required to be in conformance with the general plan. And so then the safety element, so the purpose of the safety element is to reduce the potential short and long-term risk for loss of life, injuries, damage to property, and economic and social dislocation from natural and human-caused public safety hazards. So the safety element applies to all of the unincorporated areas of Nevada County, and the last update that was done to the safety element was completed in 2020. So state law requires that the safety element is updated upon a revision of the housing element or an update to the local hazard mitigation plan. And in September of 2025, FEMA adopted the Nevada County's updated 2025 local hazard mitigation plan, and therefore it triggered the need for us to update the safety element as well. So for the proposed project, it started off by amending the general plan, the safety element, which is Chapter 10. And so what we did was we updated the entire or all of the category elements with current data and more information relevant to the current times. We incorporated the 2025 local hazard mitigation plan and its findings and some of their figures and stuff into this safety element update as well. And in addition, we also incorporated SB 99. And SB 99 was implemented and requires the planning department to review and update the safety element to include information identifying residential development in hazard areas that do not have at least 2 emergency evacuation routes. And in addition to that, we also incorporated AB 747. And AB 747 requires that a review and update is necessary to identify evacuation routes and their capacity, safety, and viability under a range of emergency scenarios. And so those were included in this update as well. So mining hazards were separated from hazardous materials to create its own section due to the potential hazards of mining in this county. And the extreme heat information and policies were added to the severe weather hazard section, as that was a requirement. And then the public safety services and facilities sections includes all new information. And then we did remove outdated specific details and requirements in the policies and regulations, and there was addition of lots of new policies and revisions to existing policies and programs as well. So the state of California, pursuant to Government Code Section 65302, establishes the requirements and content of the safety element, and Section 65302.5 requires the safety element is submitted to the California Board of Forestry and Fire Protection and the California Geological Survey of the Department of Conservation for review. So the safety element is organized in the following format. So it starts off with the introduction and setting, and then it goes down into statutory requirements pursuant to the update. And then from there, we get into each of the categories of hazards. So it starts off with emergency preparedness, then goes down to geological hazards and seismic activity, to flood hazards, airport and military airspace hazards, hazardous materials, and then now we have a new section just for mining hazards that was separated from the hazardous materials, public safety services and facilities, fire hazards and protection, severe weather hazards, climate change resiliency and mitigation, and environmental justice and vulnerable populations. And then it does end the document, it finishes up with all the goals, policies, and programs that are being implemented. So to go over some of the specific revisions during this update, so to the emergency preparedness section, we did have minor text amendments. We incorporated the 2025 Nevada County Local Hazard Mitigation Plan. We provided new information based off of the 2024 Nevada County Evacuation Study, and there were several policy updates in addition to that as well. And for the geological hazards and seismic activity, there were minor text amendments, And there was new information provided on both the Polaris and the Dog Valley faults that are found over in eastern Nevada County. So for the flood hazard sections, there were minor text amendments on flooding, and then several revisions and additions to the dam failure aspect. And for the airport and military airspace hazards, there were just minor text amendments that were done to that. And then for the hazardous materials, there were some minor text amendments and additional information on hazardous materials and some revisions to the existing policies. Then the big one here was the separation of the mining hazards from the hazardous materials. So now mining hazards has its own section, and we did that specifically to separate them because of the mining history and the potential vulnerability in Nevada County. And then for the public safety and services and facilities aspects, so there was a completely new background information for this section, new information regarding the types of critical facilities and community lifeline facilities in Nevada County, text amendments to some of the existing policies, and the addition of 2 new programs. Additionally, for the fire hazards and protections section, this one experienced the most change. There were several revisions and additions to this section to update information on hazards, causes of hazards, and wildfire behavior. And we updated some of the code sections that were referenced because previous ones were referencing old code. And then there were some text amendments that were done to existing policies and programs and the addition of many new policies and programs as well. We also had minor text amendments and additions on the fire safe circulation aspect, roadside vegetation management, emergency water storage, critical facilities and support organizations, and there was new information included regarding the Tahoe hell attack. For the climate change and resiliency and mitigation category, there were minor text amendments and additional information provided. And then the resource resiliency roadmap was included. That's something that was done by Nevada County more recently since this previous update. And we also included references to that 2025 Nevada County local hazard mitigation plan as well. And then there were some minor amendments to existing policies, and then an addition of 1 new policy. And then for the severe weather hazards, so there were several additions and minor revisions to add current information and to reference the 2025 local hazard mitigation plan. There's new background information to include extreme heat. There's the addition of figure 10.4 in that document as well that goes over extreme heat and the exposure levels. Minor text amendments to that as well, and then the addition of 5 new policies specific to extreme heat. Then the environmental justice and the vulnerable populations category, there was some information added just in general about the environmental justice element purpose, what the element promotes, and then 3 new policies were added to this.
Good afternoon, Commission members. Steve Geiger, Senior Planner with Nevada County Planning. We're doing this as kind of a joint effort here, so I get the next few slides to wrap things up. So just by way of background, as far as the update process, this process started back a little over a year ago, March of last year, and began with basically contacting, consulting with many different agencies, including different departments from the Community Development, the Office of Emergency Services, the local fire districts, Airport Land Use Commission, local Native American tribes, basically telling them that we are in the process of updating our safety element. Do you have any issues or concerns? So that began the process. Staff began working on the draft document, which took us through the summer. Then in September, we did make a couple of presentations before both the Penn Valley Area Municipal Advisory Council as well as the South County Municipal Advisory Council. After that, the draft safety element was basically completed, and at that point we distributed it for public review. That was done beginning December, and that was distributed to, as you can see, 280 agencies, departments, and groups, so a wide distribution. Hard copies were made available to the public at various locations, and it was also posted to the Planning Department's webpage. So as Zach hinted at earlier, there are some departments that do require that they have the opportunity to review your document, one being the State Department of Forestry. We worked with the Board of Forestry on the draft safety element and again formally submitted it to them at the beginning of December of last year for their review, and there were no comments or recommendations provided by the Board of Forestry in their review. It was sent to Cal OES. There were no comments received from them. The California Geological Survey was consulted. They requested some minor edits be made to the geological hazard section, in addition to showing additional information regarding active faults near Truckee in eastern Nevada County. It was also circulated to the Town of Truckee Emergency Services Manager, as well as Nevada County OES, who both commented basically requesting that the term Code Red be removed and be replaced with the Nevada County Alert and Warning System, so updating us on that information. It was also circulated to the Northern Sierra Air Quality Management District, and they provided a comment just a few days ago, which was provided to you with a supplemental memo, basically asking for some minor revisions, including additional information on asbestos in the hazardous materials section, as well as commenting to include language to protect mature, fire-resistant street-side trees. So there was a full environmental review done in accordance with CEQA, and the negative declaration for the project was circulated between January 23rd and February 23rd of 2026. This project is for text amendments to a policy document, so it is not a specific project development, so it is relative to a policy document. The initial study negative declaration was sent to the state clearinghouse for a 30-day review, and there were no comments received. So that gets us to our recommendation today. We are recommending that the Commission recommend to the Board of Supervisors, after reviewing it, to approve the proposed negative declaration and adopt the draft resolution that's included in the staff report, as well as we're recommending that the Commission recommend Board approve the draft resolution that would approve the proposed amendments to the safety element in the county's general plan, and as amended by the April 15th memorandum that was previously sent to you. So this concludes our presentation, unless there's any questions from the Commission this time.
Let's open this up for questions. Commissioner Garst? Commissioner McIntyre?
None. Thank you.
No questions anywhere? Okay.
Briefly, Commission, although, yeah, I was going to say, no one's in the audience, but we should have public comment as well, for purposes of decorum.
Okay, let's have some invisible community participation here. Okay, we will open this up formally for public comment. There is no public members available or in place, so we're going to close public comment. I did have a couple of questions. So, and maybe I didn't totally understand what this document does, but when we separated out the mining hazards and then read through that, would this have impacted the Gold Rise application in any way, or if somebody were to come in the future, would this change the conversation in the county in some way?
So it wouldn't have changed, let's say, the gold, that one just per se, because this document wasn't into effect or wasn't proposed until this current time, and so they would have been subject to whatever the previous safety element, general, or the policies and everything were. With this new one, since we did add a new policy, so there is some new aspects to this mining hazard section. So therefore, let's just say somebody were to submit for a new mine, then yes, then they would be subject to being compliant with the safety element policies that would be newly established and adopted if that were the case.
So where would I find those? I'm looking on page 134, but is there another mining section that I missed?
So it looks like page 10-19 at the bottom, I guess would be page 133, is the section that we separated out for mining hazards. So just a few pages behind probably where you're looking at.
But the new added language is what's in red on page 134, correct?
That's correct, Chair.
So basically, with the mining hazards, what we wanted to do is the discussion on mining in the existing safety element is pretty minimal, and we wanted to definitely supplement that and provide much more background. So with input from our environmental health department, other agencies, we did that and try to separate it out. We felt that it definitely needed its own separate section because of the safety element risk of mining. And so that's why it was separated out and basically supplemented with more information.
And so did this feel like it gave you the teeth that you would want in the event of another application?
Commissioner Millman, let me jump in. It really wouldn't change future projects for mining, anything that we've added. It really is focusing on legacy mine cleanup and identifying hazards either through abandoned shafts or chemical contamination, and encouraging basically studying and analyzing where those are, where they may be, and then coordinating with DTSC, the state, or property owners to help clean up those legacy mine hazards. It really didn't add any conditions or standards or requirements for future mining. So the policies are, well, sorry, I thought I had it in front of me. Thank you. They're in a few places. They're on page 103. They're also on page 163. So basically, added policies requiring phase 1 environmental site assessments, just to ensure that property is in a clean condition prior to any type of future development. Providing some information through environmental health on knowledge of legacy sites in the county, and condition discretionary approval on identification and evaluation of mitigation of environmental physical hazards related to legacy mining. Again, it's related to being aware of mines from hundreds of years, 150 years ago, and cleaning up those sites where appropriate to avoid conflicts with future development on those sites or existing development in the surrounding areas. So it's not really applicable to new projects so much as like development standards, as just general policy of awareness and cleanup.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Thank you. Well, this apparently is in all of our districts. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I guess I will. I recommend the Board of Supervisors, after reviewing and considering the proposed negative declaration, adopt the draft resolution approving the proposed negative declaration EIS 25-0001.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Your vote, Commissioner French?
Aye.
Commissioner Foley?
Aye.
Commissioner McAteer?
Aye.
Commissioner Garst?
Aye.
And Chair Millman?
Aye.
Thank you.
And I also recommend the Board of Supervisors adopt the draft resolution approving the proposed amendments to the Nevada County General Plan, Chapter 10, Safety Element, as amended by the April 15th, 2026 Memorandum GPT 25-0001.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner French?
Aye.
Commissioner Foley?
Aye.
Commissioner McAteer?
Aye.
Commissioner Garst?
Aye.
Chair Millman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Excellent. Let's see, where are we?
Thank you very much. I know
Thank you.
This is a thankless job of doing updates to safety plans, but thank you very much.
For a year and a half. Thank you.
Thank you all thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys do that by short straw? I'm kidding. Okay, let's see. How about upcoming planning commission meetings? What do we have on the docket?
I was looking for a little help. I wasn't getting it. I don't believe we have anything scheduled at this time. I don't think we'll have anything in early May. There's technically still time for something in late May, but it'll more likely be a June meeting. We'll try to keep you updated as soon as we know and try to coordinate calendars to give you as much advance warning as possible to try to make everyone available for that meeting. But nothing on the calendar right now that we can confirm.
So, Brian, I have a question. So could you fill us in on, since I don't know, the holiday market, did that go through? And where are we with that? The Board of it went to the Board of Supervisors, the recreational vehicle thing. So could you tell us?
Yeah, the Penn Valley market was approved by the Board of Supervisors. I forget exactly, March, I believe, was it, Steve? February, sorry. February, a couple of months ago. Minimal changes from what the Planning Commission recommended, if any. And at this point, we will just be waiting for them to submit building permits to construct it. I don't believe we've seen the building permit submitted, but we'd anticipate that, any week now, as far as I'm aware of the project still wanting to move forward. With the alternative RV ordinance, that item was heard at the board. That one was in March, on March 10th. And they made some recommendations to continue the item and primarily to look at including more of a hardship criteria for eligible folks to be eligible to live in one of these types of living units. So it was continued. We're looking to go back not until July 28th, with some revised language that has some eligibility criteria. The development standards for the RVs, as far as location and setback requirements and kind of all the development standards that were in there, aren't likely to change. It's more of developing what we're calling a hardship criteria, which hasn't been fully developed yet, but will most likely be based on income qualification, probably low to very low. Haven't worked it out yet, but around that 50% AMI, potentially right in that area, probably not over that. So we're working on that. They did ask for it to be restructured slightly and put under the section of the code that addresses RV living for other circumstances, medical, as well as temporary recreational RV, which it kind of is in there already, but we're going to reformat it to try to follow kind of some of the existing formatting and language that's already in the code. So really minor kind of formatting type stuff, but the major change is the eligibility requirements that we're looking to develop and bring back to the board in July for their consideration.
So I read in the article written by the gentleman who's sort of the proponent of this that it was a 1-4 vote. Was there actually a vote on this? Not an official vote on the ordinance. There was a little bit of confusion regarding voting to take a break or the timing of how to come back with the item. So the official vote was 5-0 to continue the item, but there was a little bit of back and forth between, are we doing it on the screen right now? No, we need to take a break. And so there was a little bit of confusion and some disagreement, but eventually it was 5-0 to continue. And Danny brought up the mine. Are you still are you, as the planning director, actively involved still in this litigation of the mine?
I would not say actively involved. It's really through the court system and our county counsel's office. The only involvement I have every once in a while is an update or not recently, but providing information for the administrative record,
Okay.
and making sure we had all our files in order.
Great, thank you very much.
I have a quick question. Last year, we had an application that led to Danny and I having a bit of a side conversation about looking into changing some of our vegetation requirements on new commercial projects to include some TBD designation, percentage of native plants. And I wanted to just inquire about, I want to pick that up again, and I want to know what the procedure for us recommending an amendment to the design guidelines in that capacity.
Sure. There's probably a couple ways to go about it. I'm thinking the best way could potentially, and Sims, tell me if I'm getting out of line here, but we could have kind of an ad hoc committee made up of yourself and Commissioner Millman. Take a look at some of the language. You can work together, maybe provide staff with some suggested language amendments. We could draft that up, bring that back to the full Planning Commission as a proposal of what's recommended to be forwarded on to the Board of Supervisors as a recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Okay.
So I'd probably start with, let's figure out what changes and things you want to make, bring it to the commission, get a full recommendation, and then take it through to the board.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I also want to say thank you. I know that you met with the Safe Tech people, and I truly appreciate that, okay? Keep getting them in the loop was valuable for that community. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And just as you're likely aware that that item was heard at the board on Tuesday, just a couple of days ago.
No.
And,
So how did that go?
The board approved the ordinance. Trying to remember, it was 2 days ago. I was there the whole time, and I'm blanking on if they made any changes. Sims, do you recall? I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe they passed the ordinance in substantively as it was presented. They did pass it with the caveat that any pending applications that were not deemed complete at the time of the adoption, which would be 30 days after the passage of the ordinance, would be subject to the previous ordinance. So anything that was complete at the time the new ordinance comes through would be subject to the old ordinance. As far as setbacks.
Same as our recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I believe it was very similar to that.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Total blank there. It was basically the same. They did carve out the setback requirement for any application that wasn't complete. It only would apply to 3 additional applications. So we have 3 incomplete applications. And those incomplete applications would be subject to all of the new standards except for the increased setbacks. So that was kind of the one modification that was made.
And then we'd also agreed unanimously that it was going to go back to sort of being reviewed again. Did the board do anything with that?
At the result of that meeting, they did not provide any direction to revisit it within any type of time frame or with any specific direction. There's always an opportunity that it could be amended or something could be proposed, but at this time, our direction was to make the changes to the applicability, and that was as far as it went.
To that point, I went out with Hardy Bullock to look at the site where there's a telecommunication tower proposed on Cochero Lane, I believe. Is that something that would come before us, or is that an administrative review?
That one is an application that is complete. They are looking at potentially changing the location, but we haven't had any official changes. But because it was complete, it's under the old ordinance, which would come to the zoning administrator for any type of hearing.
All right, thanks.
And I can provide a brief update on the mine litigation. We have had several hearings on the issue before the court, and they have not scheduled any new hearings. They've taken under submission, and we are expecting at some point to get a ruling from the judge on the issues before the court. We have not had those yet. We're on
Sorry, just
bated
wanted
breath.
clarify, that's the dog bar site. Corchero is up off of Highway 20.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the mine.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, the mine litigation. We're waiting for that ruling still.
So is it all based on, is it all based on the issue of them having vested rights? Is that still the main topic on this mine?
That's one of the issues. So there was the two issues that came before your commission, before the board. One was for the vested rights issue, and one was for the conditional use permit. And so they did have hearings on the vested rights issue, and whether it was vested and whether it was abandoned. Those issues came before the court at hearings, and the court has taken it under submission. They have not scheduled any new hearings. Usually they'll have another hearing if they have more questions. They haven't done so, and now it's with the court, and we expect a ruling at some point.
And is this Superior Court? Is this Court of Appeal? Superior
Correct. It's our
Court
local Nevada County Superior Court.
in Nevada County?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So I had one more question. I believe the county regulations govern view corridors, right?
Well, in some ways not.
Right. So like what's happening south of Grass Valley, is that in any way controlled by the county?
No, that is all Caltrans right-of-way. So all that tree removal is within Caltrans right-of-way.
So do we know if that's what the view is going to look like coming into town till new trees grow? Or is there a sound wall? Is there any, do you know if there's any plans down there?
I do not. There are likely some Caltrans plans out there, but I have not seen them or been involved. I can talk to our Public Works Department, who would have some limited involvement in that, and see if they have any plans available that I can forward.
I suggest you come to my community forum on May 1st, which I'm having with the three people that are involved in the whole thing, and they'll tell you all the plans
We'll
for
watch
that.
for your email. It's not like you're going to put the trees back, though.
Nope.
Anything else anyone's got on their mind? We're in the, at this point, very amorphous discussion and announcements. Okay, then. I believe that we can